Sunday. We'll open the July meeting of the Marysburg Town of Tusten. So that's our planning meeting. With the pledge.
The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have minutes from March. It's been a while since we read them, but Amy gave me a copy here, and it's basically, we were over Big Eddie Brewing. Big Eddie Brewery. So that should remind everybody what it was. We had a little bit of correspondence. We had some things we requested from Bob, which we haven't got. And that looks like about it. So anybody want to make a motion on the minutes?
I will make that motion to accept the minutes.
Okay.
I'll
Mike,
second.
motion and second, any discussion? Then it's approved for Mark. Now, correspondence, Amy doesn't have anything listed here. We've gotten a couple emails. Carrie from the UDC was unhappy with me because we did the Narrowsburg Veterinarian Clinic and we didn't ask them about it. So Amy sent all the stuff over after we've already approved and they have their door open. And we got back a letter for local determination, 42 pages of it. So needless to say, that didn't get too much review because that's a little bit too much reading. So luckily it's local determination that will be off the table. We had the group of Denise Dunleavy represented them and sent a letter to the county that they were in an agricultural district. And so they reviewed it. Again, local determination and some stuff along that, you know, you might have some odors certain times of year from the agricultural district and you can't do anything about them. That's the way it goes. And so that was the gist of that correspondence. Anybody have any other that I forgot about?
I'm Denise Dunleavy. I wrote that letter.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say they were in it. I said they were on the border. Their secret application said they were not within 500 feet. And in fact, their land borders 800 feet with Mr. Lang. J.P. Lang's farm, which is an agricultural district. That's why we wrote that letter.
Fine, and we got our letter back with its local determination, so we're taken care of.
I don't understand that. It's up
The
to you.
county has responded to your letter
Mhm.
that it's up to us to determine whether we care that it's an agricultural
Okay.
district. And as they said in some of their addition, they should be aware that at certain times of the year, there can be odors out of an agricultural district and there's nothing you can do about it. That's part of the agricultural district and farming. So that was kind of to the applicant. So just reporting that it's back.
Okay.
Now, Steve, are you here?
Can I just ask a quick question? So I will comment.
It's not comment now. Okay. Well, first application for new business is Steve Miss. We've seen Mr. Miss before. He put in an application which we approved for gunsmithing. And now he wishes to become a transfer agent. Would you like to say anything on your application? You gave us lots of information about your qualifications and so on, so. Anybody have any questions on that?
No, it was quite comprehensive.
Yes, it
Yes.
quite was. Yes.
Thank you. Impressive that you have all those things. So, review of the application, we've each made it, we had it. Who would like to make a motion to declare us lead agency on this?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll make that
second.
Go ahead.
Pete's a second, so we have a motion to declare ourselves as lead agency on Steve Miss's application under whichever name doing business as and so on it happens to fall, but it's all his ownership. Any further discussion on the lead agency? No. You can just say aye, I think, on this. Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, we're good to go. Who has the seeker for Steve? Amy, do you have it? Okay, it's in front of us.
Turn first, let's recognize it being unlisted action.
Okay. Got that, Amy? It's an unlisted action. Who wants to read from the computer? Mary? Can you see
Okay,
that?
I can see just fine, okay. The project and sponsor information, the name of the action or project is Green Acre Gunsmith LLC, DBA Lot, Stock and Barrel. The project's,
And I think there we should add Steve Miss too,
you want it,
as part of the action, so that nobody comes back and says it's not everything, okay?
so we'll make that. Okay. The project location is 22 Skipperine Road, Narrowsburg, New York. Tax map number 1-1-21.6. The brief description,
Wait till she
Okay.
finishes with her addition. and
Okay.
move on, because she's blocking
Okay.
you out.
uh.
Oh, he has it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Did you want to read that
Yeah,
again?
Friday wrote it. The brief description of proposed action to establish a home-based gunsmith/dealer in firearms business is allowed under 18 USC Chapter 44. The term, quote, dealer, which includes a gunsmith, is defined by 18 USC 92(1)A 11 and 27 CFR 47(8)-11 to include any person engaged in the business of selling firearms at wholesale or retail, or repairing firearms, or making or fitting special barrels, stock, or trigger mechanism to firearms. Furthermore, any person who is engaged in the business of camouflaging or engraving firearms as described in this ruling must be licensed as a dealer, which includes a gunsmith under the Gun Control Act. The name of the applicant or sponsor is Steve G. Miss. His address is 22 Skipperine Road. His email, I'm not going to do the phone number, Narrowsburg, New York, 12764. Number one, does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? He checked no. Number two, does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? He checked no. Number three, A, total acreage of the site of the proposed action is 3 acres. B, total acreage to be physically disturbed, 0. C, total acreage, project site, and any contiguous projects owned or controlled by the applicant or project sponsor, 139.33 acres. Number 4, check all land uses that occur on or adjoining or near the proposed action. Number 5, he checked forest, rural, and commercial. Commercial, I'm sorry, residential, I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry about that.
Of course, they put the check in front of,
Okay.
not behind.
I know, it's like.
How about?
How about that? Okay. Number 5, is the proposed action a permitted use under the zoning regulations? He checked yes. B, consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? He checked yes. 6, is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? He checked yes. Is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state-listed critical environmental area? He checked no. Number 8, A, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? He checked no. B, are public transportation services available at or near the site of proposed action? He checked no. Are any pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? He checked no. 9, does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? He checked yes. Will the proposed action, number 10, action connect to an existing public or private water supply? He checked yes. 11, will the proposed action connect to the existing wastewater utilities? He checked yes. Number 12, does the project site contain or substantiate continuous to a building, architectural site, or district which is listed in the National Estate Register for the historic places or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places. He checked no. B, is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office archaeological site inventory? He checked yes.
Only on the second page.
I know, that's after this, okay. Alrighty, number 13, does any portion of the site of the proposed action or land adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? He checked no. Number 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. He checked forest and he checked suburban. Number 15, does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as a threatened or endangered? He checked yes, and he indicated a bald eagle. Number 16, is the project site located in the 100-year flood? We checked no. Number 17, will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from the point or non-point sources? He checked no. Will the water discharge flow or adjacent properties? He checked no. B, will the stormwater discharge be directed or established conveyance system, runoff or storm drains? He checked no. Number 18, does the proposed action include any construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? He checked no. 19, has the site of the proposed action or any adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? He checked no. 20, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of a remediation, ongoing or completed, for hazardous waste? He checked no. He says, I certify the information provided above is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. The applicant response name is Stephen G. Miss. He dated it May 11, 2023. The signature title is the owner.
And there we see the 3-acre parcel located in southern lands.
Yeah.
And he did the state site. So we have some questions there that were answered. We'd like to read now.
All right. I think I do have it here.
Okay.
Part 1, question 7, critical environmental area, no. Part 1, question 12A, National or State Register of Historic Places or state eligible sites, no. Part 1, question B12, archaeological sites, yes. Part 1, question 13A, wetlands or other regulated water bodies, no. Part 1, question 15, threatened or endangered animal, yes. Part 1, question 15, threatened or endangered animal, name, bald eagle. Part 1, question 16, 100-year floodplain, no. Part 1, question 20, remediation site, no.
Okay, I think the archaeological sites aren't really need to be considered now because it's an existing building. It's already been there for several years. And there's no change to the outside. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Guess we go to part 2 now, huh? Okay, I'll
Will you
take
read
over.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, you usually do that.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? And our answers are either no or small impact may occur or moderate to large impact. So I would say we'll take the no to small.
Mhm.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use in land? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in any adverse change in the existing land or traffic affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and It fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation and renewable energy opportunities. Now, I don't see a lot of energy used. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water? No. Public-private waste? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water body, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in increase to the potential for erosion, flooding, or draining problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Okay, we've completed part 1 and part 2. So now we have to make a determination. And I think we'll take the second box, which reads, check this box if you have determined, based on the information and analysis above, and any supporting documentation, that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Okay, we need a motion to make that determination.
I'll make the motion to check the second box.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept this part 2 of the seeker with no significant adverse environmental impacts. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Can
Those
I
in
have-
fa-
I have a question. Where exactly is this located on Skippery Road? Is this the old,
Debbie Waslick's house?
Yeah. It's the old Waslick House,
the old Waslick House? Next to,
Then it was
the
Moss.
old
Then it was,
Canfield House.
it is,
Canfield is the second house. Mine's the first house as you go up Skippery on the right
but,
side.
but it's not the old Campfield property.
No, it's not.
was part of that way back when she bought from.
Well, years ago it was.
Yes.
1986, I think, the house was built.
Something like that, a long time ago. Any other discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? All right, so we'll take the moment and fill this thing out. And it should, I'm writing the list at the same time. Okay. This needs to go to Amy for sending, right?
For the 239?
Yeah. Oops. Corrections. You very right? Right, the lead agency, we've done the seeker. We need to set a public hearing.
Yes.
How happened to my piece of paper?
Put it away. Mine up.
Right there?
Mhm.
Here it is.
All righty. Yeah.
Okay, we'd like to take action on this. We can set up a public hearing. We've gone through over the application. Seems to be no objection. So next meeting is when?
August 22nd.
August 22nd. Do you want the 7:25 slot?
That's fine.
Okay, so you'll send out your couple of notices. Andy, do you send town of Coshocton and county
Excellent.
and the UDC? Otherwise, Barry will be real mad at me next time. Okay, I think Steve, you're set to go till next meeting. Matthew, you have copies for everybody to look at, so you might as well bring them up. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Oh, that's good, thank you.
I got.
Okay, great, great.
Can we have an application, please? Yes.
Yeah, I could use the larger version.
I did leave two large ones with Jocelyn.
That's so far. These are large enough, the one on the computer was. They're difficult to read, but I want to.
I sent to PM.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so we have an application for a subdivision out of a fairly large parcel of land owned by Anthony Marsanico, Barbara Marsanico, and January Scritta. It's on Lake Shore Lane in Bluxton Lake, which means you go all the way down Third Avenue and make a right and a left and go up along where the lake used to be. And you'll come to a bunch of woods and a dirt road. There's a gravel bank and some things. And then there they've selected 3 acres that they want to build on, so they can find it, God bless them.
It's in there.
Yeah, putting the stake in is the hardest part. Okay, any questions on the application from anybody before we go on? I'll look it over a little bit, you can.
I guess the question is the access is that gravel road, how do you?
The access is,
Because it just says trail on the
It's a dirt road. It's accessible by car.
wide enough to accommodate that emergency vehicles, anything that would.
It's equivalent to the entirety of Lake Shore Lane, which, quite a few people live on.
they're 35-foot right of ways and they have a dirt road that you can pass each other. It hasn't washed out on that side.
Oh.
Sort of. I just saw some cones sitting in the one corner yesterday. No, unlisted. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta start that soon. Okay, are we ready to move on? You guys looked at it enough, we can call ourselves lead agency in an unlisted action. Anybody need more time? Okay, I'll take a motion to declare lead agency.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike. Over under the table.
I'll second.
Thank you, Pete. We have a motion to declare ourselves lead agency in an unlisted action for Marsanico Scrito subdivision, being represented tonight by Matthew Scrito. Any further discussion?
No.
What? My letter from Jim?
We did receive your notice of denial.
That's how they got here, right?
I'm trying to find this.
Yeah, it's finally found, yeah.
It's such a
If you keep going, we'll get to it. Okay, those in favor of lead agency, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, time to do this. The seeker. You very well cleared, Mary, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready to go again.
Great, so.
I know. Okay, here we go.
I'll get out a new part too.
Okay. Okay. The name of the action or project, Lake Shore Road subdivision. Project location, Lake Shore Road. Brief description of proposed action on Lake Shore Road. The name of the applicant, Michael
This is.
Scrito, Matthew, I'm sorry, Matthew Scrito, 528 Lake Shore Road, Narrowsburg, New York, 13764.
Just buy another.
Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? D check no. Does the proposed action require a permit approval or funding from any other government agency? D check no. Number 3, total acreage of site of the proposed action is 3. Total acreage to be physically disturbed, 1. Total acreage, project site and contiguous properties owned or controlled by the applicant or project sponsor is 3. Number 4, check all land uses that occur on or adjoining or near the proposed action. We check rural, non-agricultural.
I would say forest could be a check in there,
With
couldn't you?
Is it far? And,
Definitely a forest.
It's forested, yeah.
okay, we'll make that change to forest.
Well, you can put
Put
both,
both.
real forest.
We'll do, okay. Number 5 is the proposed action. A, permitted use under the zoning regulation, we check yes. B, consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, non-applicable.
I would say a yes
Yes
would be appropriate. I don't know why we even have that question in there, because the comprehensive plan doesn't, so. Double subdivision as such,
That's what we were confused about.
you and everybody else.
Number
We're
6.
dealing with a New York State form, so be confused, it's perfectly known.
Number 6 is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape. Yes. Number 7 is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state listed critical environmental area? You check no. Number 8. A, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above the present levels? You check no. B, are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? We check no. C, are any of the pedestrian accommodation of bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? They check no. Number 9, does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? They check yes. Number 10, will the proposed action connect to an existing public, private, or water supply? They check no. Number 11, will the proposed action connect to existing wastewater utilities? They check no. Number 12, does the proposed site contain or substantial contiguous to a building, architectural site, or district which is listed on the National State Register of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commission of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Registry of the Historic Places? They check no. Is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory? They check no. Number 13, does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining to the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by federal, state, or local agency? They check no. D, would the proposed action physically alter, encroach into any existing wetland or water body? They check no. Number 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. Shoreline, forest. Number 15, does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? They check no.
I think we need to fix that, because you got the 10-mile river there, and probably the bald eagles are flying there. And he may have a rattlesnake or two, so let's put them down.
Probably do.
The bears don't count.
Okay.
So we call it timber rattlesnake.
Mhm. Number 16, is the project site located in the 100-year floodplain? They check no. Number 17, will the proposed action create storm water discharge either from point or non-point sources? They check no. B, will the storm water discharge be directed to established conveyance system, runoff, and or storm drains? They checked yes, no, and I'm sorry, and then I skipped one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to A. Will stormwater discharge flow to adjacent properties? They check yes. Number 18, does the proposed action include construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? They check no. 19. Has the site of the proposed action or the adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? They check no. 20, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation ongoing completed for hazardous waste? They check no. They state, I certify that the information provided above is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Janet Sfrito, applicant sponsor name, Anthony Marsali and Barbara Marcioni. Date June 13, 2023, and their signatures and their title is owners.
Okay, moving to part two. Will the proposed action create a natural material, I can't read it, material conflict with the adopted land use of plan or zoning regulations? No, it's residential area, it just hasn't been too developed. Will the proposed action result in change in use and intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level or traffic or affect the existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy? And if it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact public-private water? No. Sewer? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quantity of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Now, Matthew, from this map, you already bought a lot that's encapsulated, so when this is turned over to you, then I'll have to do a combination for you to get it in one lot.
That's the idea.
Yeah, okay, just so everybody's looking at the map and saw the little insert in the middle of it.
Mhm.
He's been busy trying to get this together for a while now.
Okay.
So again, we'll go for the second box, that we have no result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Would like to make a motion.
I'll make that motion and take the second box.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a second to result in no significant adverse environmental impacts. Those approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Okay, carried. Okay, to Amy.
Incoming.
And does this need a 239 then?
That's where I was just going to discuss. It's definitely not by a state highway or anything,
No.
but does the 10-mile river trigger that?
No, I don't think that does. Is it in an ag district?
No.
So 500 feet within a municipal boundary. Ag district. County highway, state highway.
By privately owned dirt trail. So I guess we don't need a 239. You're gonna send it to Carrie anyway, since it's by the 10 Mile River? Okay,
Got you walking the line.
well, when if, fill her desk with all kinds of papers, and then she can make 42-page reports on them. Good Lord, they're coming, they have no money and nothing to do, or no people to do it. Okay. At this point, we have taken positive action on the Arsenico Scredo subdivision. So I think we're ready to set our public hearing. I don't expect this to be a contentious item, so would you like 7:20 on August 22nd?
Yes,
Public
please.
hearing?
Okay.
Now, you must send notices. You must send notices to 500 feet around the big parcel, not just the one you're doing,
Okay,
because it's cutting out of that big parcel, so
okay.
you gotta go 500 feet around that, so that's gonna be a few more, but not a whole lot, because there's bigger parcels around it.
Yeah,
You know, you have somebody probably like Joyce,
yeah,
a couple people down there.
we'll make sure we notify everyone. 7:20,
Certified return receipt requested.
you meant 8:20?
Oh, no, 7:20 on there.
Is the
The time
time,
is 7:20.
Oh,
7:20,
the
yeah.
next, oh, the next,
7:20,
the
so
next
you-
meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
29th of August 22nd.
22nd.
Monday, 22nd.
Yeah, we're back.
Tuesday, the 20th.
Tuesday, the 22nd at 7:20 PM. And you put that in your letter so anybody can come at that time and have comments, okay?
We'll be here.
7:20.
All right, guess we're done with that.
one.
You're set to go? Catherine? Do you have applications you wanted to present or just the one we got?
You should have everything.
Okay. We gotta settle now. Are you going to bring us copies to the meetings or not?
I could.
Well, every meeting we've been getting copies and we've all been printing them. and
Of
we
this,
have
I
two.
gave 15 copies to.
So-
Jocelyn.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I gave them almost a
Yeah.
week and a half ago.
I'm not gonna continue printing if you're gonna bring them.
I spent $100 on copies for everybody.
Yeah, maybe you should. We'll move on while you do that, Crystal.
Very much.
Yeah.
She'll go get them because it's got a lot of information on it.
Yeah.
And then everybody can see what they're dealing
Okay,
with.
good.
I have one extra.
That's okay. She's gonna
Gonna
go
go
up and
get
get
it.
the 15.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to JMP Enterprises, which is what we knew is Land Use Motel and
Mhm.
restaurant and so on State Route 97. And the parcel on the Narrowsburg side of the bridge with 2 dwellings on it. So JMP wanted to put something on the upper parcel to have entertainment on weekend nights, a food truck and some stuff up along the river, a nice location. But it is in Scenic River and that's not allowed. But in Scenic River, they already have their restaurant and motel and so on. So our option is to join the parcels so that now he's going under what he already had. And he can operate food on both of them if he wishes to. So really, you don't have much to say about this. This is my call
Okay.
as assessor, and
Mhm.
I agreed to it, and I just informed the planning board of what's happening. Any questions on it or any,
Where is this located?
Blue Fox?
Oh, Blue Fox.
And the parcel, the other side of the creek, this side of towards Narrowsburg, with the 2 buildings on it. He has a nice spot apparently up.
Where the house is.
Yeah.
And the trailer, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it used to be dog kennels kind of
Yeah.
house. Has a nice spot that he wished to use for entertainment at night.
On the other side of the creek, from the hotel.
Yeah, on the other side of the creek, so it was in the other parcel
Yeah.
to
Okay,
be able to do it legally.
got it.
Jim can give him a permit if we do this.
Just to be clear, he already owns all this property.
Yeah.
Right, this is just a combination of existing ownership.
Right,
Right, it's not.
So
an
he'll get one-
acquisition.
he'll get 1 tax bill, there'll be a couple more buildings on it, because it's already a big mess of motels and so on.
Okay, all
So,
right.
done.
Done.
As soon as Crystal gets back, we'll move on to Catherine.
Could Lee add a question while we're waiting?
Go for it.
Could you just basically, so we all have an understanding, give us a quick walkthrough? I have a dirty doggy, I throw him in the car, I take him over there. What exactly happens?
This is basically just another day with less water, so it's, there's one over on the Hampton Highway. My hometown of Kansas, it's just, there's basically like, just it almost looks like a commercial dishwashing rack. And it has like the same sort of dishwashing, handle with a sprayer, and like a car wash, it just has oatmeal shampoo, clean stick shampoo, dry, rinse. So it's sort of a similar car wash, and it's just a little stand that the dog can hop up on, but it's also a wet room, so there's a drain in the middle for older dogs or larger dogs to go in, and it's an ADA unit, so no matter
So it's
the
self,
dog or the person.
it's self-serve. I wash my own dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so I wash my own dogs too, but I have one dog that hates water. And even washing him at home with a hose, it's like washing an alligator. So when I've taken him to these other dog washes, he just weirdly stays still. And I don't get wet, it's amazing. You just leave all the wet on it.
Good deal.
So car wash, truck wash, there's a car bay, there's a truck bay, now there's a dog bay. Is the idea.
Except it's a separate little unit.
It's a little unit, so it's another bay, but it's much smaller than the existing bays. It uses less water.
Does it require staffing of any sort, or like, just like
It's
car?
total self-wash.
Where's it get, what, so if we're going into the car wash?
So you know where the
Left or right?
vacuums are?
Yeah.
So you know where Tom has a snow plow?
Sure.
It's essentially just in front of that snow plow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's areas to park next to it that are out of the way, and
Mhm.
you'll see on there's a survey.
Yeah.
And I made a blue box to scale of the unit. It's a little less than 13 by 8 feet in total. It's the size of one of those like prefab sheds.
Blue doesn't show.
Yeah.
green.
Oh, here.
Red.
Right here, yeah.
But I get it.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right there.
Yep,
Yeah.
little guy.
Okay. So,
I just need
It comes with,
service.
it's like a,
Yeah.
just box on a pad.
So we'll put it in as a service establishment.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
So you gotta get little small spots for little dogs and have a spot for them to leash.
That's all that's in there. In the little box. There's a table that you put them on, and there's a leash. Oh, and then I'm gonna put little tools in there and a apron.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. There's some little-
Now, what about the start? Is there going to be a pancake area for us?
It's covered.
Okay. That's exciting.
It's inside.
Wow.
It has air conditioning. That's what it's.
It's like an indoor-
Contained with one little unit.
Is it 24/7?
It can be. I kind of have to make that decision, and I don't, if you guys have any input, I'm open to it. It's just credit card, there's no cash. There's no, like the car wash is coin, this is all credit card.
Run on a timer, like the car wash would?
Yeah. Yeah, literally, the box looks very similar to what's in the existing.
Now, are you planning on plotting out parking spaces? Because this is a somewhat active area when you have a lot of business.
Yeah, so you
in
see
and
on
out
the
of it.
survey where it says gravel parking area, that same area right next to it, so it'll be out of any line of traffic, you can park. Kind of like where you tuck into the vacuums, you'll tuck into the dog wash.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be designated though as.
Yep. Yeah, and I can divide, I can put a little rubber type curb, whatever.
But it's not built.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna put.
And
up
it's
there.
only, it's one thing, so,
Prefab thing.
I mean, unless it's super
Yeah,
popular,
yeah.
there's people lining up on the block, there'll be enough for two
Isn't
two
that the
cars.
whole-
Yeah,
There's all the particulars. there. Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
He's the setback, right?
Mhm.
15 feet.
Yeah.
It should be good
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
It's that area,
Mhm.
definitely back from front.
Mhm.
Anybody come up with questions? This is a little bit complicated to look at all these things.
No,
Pretty,
No.
pretty
I think
very
it's
straightforward to me. Very thorough
Yep.
information.
Good friends.
We do not have a dog wash as such in our zoning, but it's a service establishment, so I think we can work under that. To service to people that come there and get service. So we'll be okay. Unlisted.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't- Yeah, this is a huge threshold for the type one. It's not
It's
type
not
one,
big enough. huh?
not big enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, at this point, we declare lead agency for an unlisted action. Take a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion to declare lead agency as an unlisted action for the Narrowsburg Center LLC dog wash. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Loud enough, right? Okay. Did you find your seat?
No.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you're gonna read it?
You want me to read it?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, go for it.
thank you.
All right.
Name of action or project is Narrowsburg Car and Dog Wash. The location is 96 Perks Road, had to be poured on existing gravel area. Brief description of proposed action to install a prefab 13x8 structure for dog wash will be installed directly on a new concrete pad. The applicant or sponsor is Catherine Andrews, looks like Narrowsburg Center.
Yeah.
96 Kirk Road, Narrowsburg, 12764. On to the secret. Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? No. Does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? No. Total acreage of the site of the proposed action, 0.48 acres. Total acreage to be physically disturbed, 104 square feet. Total acreage project site contiguous properties, 0.48 acres. Check all land uses that occur on or adjoining or near the proposed action. The only checkbox is commercial. Is the proposed action A, permitted use under the zoning regulations? Yes. Consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? Yes. Is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? Yes. Is the site of the proposed action located in, or does it adjoin, a state-listed critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. Are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Are any pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? Yes. Does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? Yes. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public-private water supply? Check yes, run to an existing line. Will the proposed action connect to existing wastewater utilities? Yes. Does the project site contain or is substantially contiguous to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places? No. Is the project site or any portion of it located in an area adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Survey? Yes. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by federal, state, or local agency? Yes. Would the proposed action physically alter or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? No. Identify the typical habitat that occurs on or likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. The only one checked is urban. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? Yes is checked. The answers are bald eagle and timber rattlesnake. Is the project site located in a 100-year floodplain? No. Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge, either from point or non-point sources? No. Down to 18, does the proposed action include construction or other activities that will result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation, ongoing or completed for hazardous waste? Checked. No. Certified then that this is true and accurate. The applicant sponsor name, Catherine Andrews, Narrowsburg Center, signed on July 11th, 20. Why don't y'all let you take over?
I'm gonna read the EF. I'm going to read the EF Mappers Summary Report dated Friday, July 14, 2023. Part 1, Question 7, Critical Environmental Area? No. Part 1, Question 12A, National State Register of Historic Places or State Eligible Sites? No. Part 1, Question 12B, Archaeological Sites? Yes. Part 1, Question 13A, Wetlands or other regulated water bodies? Yes. Digital mapping information on local and federal wetlands and water body is known to be incomplete. Refer to the EAF workbook. Part 1, Question 15, Threatened or endangered animals? Yes. Part 1, Question 15, Threatened or endangered animal name, bald eagle, timber rattlesnake. Part 1, Question 16, 100-year floodplain? No. Part 1, Question 20, remediation site? No.
Okay. Part 2. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No, or small to moderate impact. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use and intensity of the use of land? Small to moderate. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Small to moderate. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructures for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy, and if it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation and renewable energy opportunities? Small to moderate. Will the proposed action impact private water supplies? Yes, small to moderate. And waste treatment, small to moderate. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Everybody okay with those answers? And we'll check the
Box
not
two.
result, box two, not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. I'll take a motion for that.
Move that we check box two.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Any comments? Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, yeah. So far we have an action to set a public hearing. So I guess you'll get 7:15. Okay, Denise, if you want to make any comment before we close?
I just had a question, if you don't mind. Could you tell us the status involved in the application,
The what?
the status of the
If
application?
you could tell me, I'd tell you. I haven't heard anything in a couple minutes.
No, is there a deadline on how long we have to submit it?
Not on this particular action from what we
So
discussed.
there's no
It's not
automatic.
like a subdivision that you get an automatic approval if you go so long,
Right,
so. I guess they couldn't answer our questions, yeah.
I mean, we left it off with them that we agreed that they were gonna get back to us with that additional information and responses to the engineer's commentary. I mean, at some point, the board could certainly reach, take the position that we'd like a response by such and such a date, or tell us how much more time you need to give us a response.
Because at this point, every month I email Joel, you have anything for this month? In the last 2 months, he's not even responded to email. So it doesn't look positive for them going anyways.
okay, I mean, the homeowners association is, we have an engineer and a report and a planning report, we don't want to submit it needlessly.
We don't want it
No, you don't know.
needlessly.
I would hold it.
Yeah, we're only, I just wanted-
Powder then.
okay, so there's nothing, they could tell you they want to come on the next meeting if they want to. They have to answer your thing about the dam or whatever first.
What?
They have to answer your questions about the dam or whatever first.
I don't know if it's about the dam, but there are other questions the engineer had.
Okay. Okay,
We had that whole list we gave them back in March.
at least,
Yeah, I think it was March meeting, so.
They've also promised responses to the public hearing from the attorney. They haven't shown up, have they?
Nothing, like,
No,
nothing.
not show up, have they?
No.
There's been no response, there's been no
Zero.
submission with response to any of that.
If there's nothing, there's nothing.
but you can just let them go on being hanging there, keeping us all on tenterhooks.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like they're not pursuing it too readily right now.
At least they won't have a camp this summer, but.
No, they're not gonna open this summer, that's for sure.
Okay.
Maybe they decided it's not worth opening at all, who knows?
I think maybe the rattlesnake scared them.
The Bears,
So Ken, I have a question. So we're just going to wait. So what is a reasonable time in which we have to wait, like you had just
I
mentioned?
think whatever you think is a reasonable amount of time, honestly, Mary.
I don't know, I'm just
You
curious.
know, at some point, I think, if we get into the fall and it's still radio silent, I think it would be reasonable for the board to make inquiry and say, we'd like to
Okay,
know what your intention is. Are you going to make an additional submission, and if so, when?
okay.
and if we don't hear from you by so and so,
We're gonna
cancel it.
Yeah. We're gonna
Okay.
withdraw it, or,
Yeah.
All right.
Then they'd have to start over again.
The shoes are on.
Okay, no,
you can have
okay.
Okay, fair enough, thank you.
That's basically, we haven't heard anything either, but at least we have to sit here and wait.
How many of the bigger maps you gave Jocelyn?
I have time.
That'll probably do, because we stamped them, we keep one,
Okay,
And, you know, you have to take one to the county to file your subdivision, and you have to have one for baby Jim and so on, so.
She needs a Mylar and 2 papers to take with her. for the final order.
So there is this new one, it's only in the middle, right? The new ones that don't give us the ones
Yeah.
subdivision has done.
Right. And there'll be a Mylar one,
I heard it, I did hear it, I'm sorry.
which is plastic, there'll be a plastic copy you have to take to the county that we have to stamp.
Okay, I can get one.
Well, yeah,
It's 2 by 3.
whatever size they do, they're usually 3 by.
Two by-
right,
two by
3, yeah.
But there needs, these are paper copies.
Right.
There has to be what they call a Mylar copy. It kind of looks like a thin piece of plastic because that's the one that you have to file with the county is the Mylar. Your surveyor or engineer, whoever's doing your professional work, will know what that is.
Okay,
Yeah, but they're not familiar with our county that much, apparently.
right, and not this one, it'll be a new map.
Well, she'll do just what just your lot, more or less, and then there'll be a little scale up in the corner showing where it came from. And then we have to have a place we stamp on it, but I have the stamp if she doesn't put that on,
That's fine. I think we did put the stamp on, so.
whatever, doesn't matter. We don't get to use ours too often, so we'll be fine. Any further comments? Motion
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
carried.
Give me a minute.
We go.
I gotta grab it. I'm gonna have to have the wheel. It's Wednesday, you're gonna go. Wow. Not that